Hello, welcome to this week's lesson. We're going to be treating conjunctions. In our last lesson, we talked about prepositions, but this week we'll be treating conjunctions. And as our introductory part, I asked, do you know that there can be words that act as a bridge or a vehicle that joins words, phrases, clauses together? Now let's learn together. What is a conjunction? A conjunction is a word which is used to join words, phrases, clauses, and sentences to one another. That means these ones are like an adding factor that joins these things together, these words, these sentences, these clauses, and these phrases together. We have examples. We have and, but, for, as, also, however, hence, and so much more. Well, let's learn more. There are two types of conjunctions, two main types. There are three actually, but for this lesson, we're treating two main types of conjunction, and that is the coordinating conjunction and the subordinating conjunction. The coordinating conjunction joins two independent clauses together. Now, independent clauses are clauses that can stand alone and are complete sentences. That means they're sentences or they're clauses that they make complete sense when they are said. So they are independent. You don't have to depend on anything or anybody to make a sense or a meaning out of what is being said. They can stand alone. Now, cognitive conjunctions joins two independent clauses. That means two independent clauses that are not supposed to be together. This conjunction can actually join them together and they will still make sense. But this time, when you have two independent clauses together, it now becomes a compound sentence. We'll get to that another time. Examples of coordinating sentences, conjunction rather. You have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, and so many more. There are so many more that we have together that are coordinating conjunctions. And as used in a sentence, we could have I want to go to Kano. I want to go to Kano would make a complete sense. If somebody should walk up to me and say, I want to go to Kano, of course, I'm going to understand what he or she is saying. And if the person comes to me and say, I don't want to travel by train, it still makes complete sense. I still understand that you do not want to travel by train. So now we have a conjunction there, which is but. I want to travel to Kano, but I don't want to travel by train. Now this coordinated conjunction, has brought these two sentences that make complete senses on their own together. Hope you're following me. Now let's treat subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions joins an independent clause and a dependent clause in order to make a complex sentence. That is, an independent clause, a clause that wants to stand on its own, that is very grown and make complete sense. And then a dependent clause, a clause that doesn't make sense, a sentence that you would just say and somebody will be like, are you sure you're okay? Now that kind of a clause, a sentence, joins them together to make a complex sentence. Yes, I'll just explain to you what a dependent clause is. A clause that has a subject and a verb but is not a complete thought and cannot stand on its own. Let's have examples. Although that's examples of subordinating conjunctions. Although, if, now that, were, rather than, as long as, unless, even though. More examples: because, though, after, as, once, when, although, unless, whether, while, provided, if, since, even though, until, before, so that, because, and so much more. We can have so many more examples of subordinating conjunctions. These conjunctions will bring two sentences together: a sentence that is independent, that can stand on its own, and a sentence that is dependent, that cannot stand on its own, together to make a complex sentence. Now, as used in a sentence, we'll have, I want to go to Kano because my cousin lives there. Now, this is a very good example of what I was trying to explain to you. I want to go to Kano. If you come to me and say, I want to go to Kano, I understand I want to go to Kano, but you cannot come to me and say, my cousin lives there. Anybody is going to ask you, where? So you see that my cousin lives there is not a sentence or not a clause that will make a complete sense. I want to go to Kano makes sense, is an independent clause, and my cousin lives there is a dependent clause because here joins them together to make a complex sentence. I hope you understand this lesson. So try and make, from the examples of the conjunctions we made, you can try out some more sentences on your own and submit in class. And so we'll do our corrections together. I really hope you understand this lesson. Thank you for joining in. See you in our next class.